Wait a minute. I got to go look for some records today. Apparently, an hour and a half north of me, there's a, I've been there 2-3 times, but it's like a consignment shop, sort of like a pawn shop, run by a young kid with, you know, tattoos and groovy everything. And he's got guitars, vintage instruments, but he had like a few crates of records, and I went there and I found, man, I bought 80 records one day, like all this old vintage gospel stuff, like for $1 a record, including a bluegrass gospel album with a handmade cover, man. The music on one side was actually pretty damn good. So he's supposed to get into, he's got some deal with some kind of, I don't know, somebody that gets a lot of records. It sells records, but it has too many to sell. So he's like getting these records from this guy, but I found like a Martin Denny LP in this, so I don't know what to do, who this other guy is that he can't sell some of these records. I can't figure it out. But for $1 a piece, I feel. Of course, when I turn around and try to sell what I get for $1 a piece on eBay, thinking it's worth more money, and of course nobody wants it. Which goes, I should talk about the Manic Mark economic theory. Let's do that right now. It's going to be Manic Mark Educational Week. There you go. That's the title for the first video. Manic Mark Educational Week. Number 1, Manic Mark Educational Week. Number 2, I'm going to have to cut this out, stick it in, and so forth and so on. And Manic Mark Educational Moment, whatever, number whatever, is Manic Mark's economic theory, and that is buy high and sell low. Yes, that's what I'm good at. Is buying things that I think are worth money, not necessarily to sell. I don't actually operate that. I buy things that I like, I enjoy them, but the house loads up, what are you going to do? Ooh, sorry, Kronos, the fist of antisocial injustice, I almost knocked you over. What are you going to do? You got to sell stuff. So I try to be thrifty about stuff, but just because, you know, the stuff that I like, it's not really widely sought after. So when I go to sell it and nobody bids on something, I'm like, oh man, that was pretty cool, and nobody seems to want it. So I just take a loss on it. But you know how you justify it as a compulsive buyer when you can't sell something you've paid a lot of money for? Is you just say to yourself that was an educational experience. That's right. You were learning about something. You have a hobby, a compulsion. All right, a compulsion. Like toasters. I collected hundreds of vintage toasters. Well, the time came when I had about 30 of them that I could do it. It was just there, and so I tried to sell them on eBay. Like I was buying them for like $10 a piece, and just like shipping on top of that, so you're talking about like $17 a pop. I couldn't get rid of them. Just an idiot. I was an idiot. But I found somebody at a yard, stopped by my house at a yard sale, and I was just finishing a retro kitchen someplace, and he bought all of them just to put on a shelf. $5 a piece. But the point is, that was I chalked it up to an educational experience because I was learning about antique toasters. Why I couldn't read it in a book? I don't operate that way. I have to have the thing in my hand. I have to look at it and enjoy it and get more of them. And eventually I figure out, when I figure out that I can't afford the really good stuff, that I have some middle of the road stuff, and maybe I get lucky, I find a couple things, I just get disinterested and I stop the hobby. Which leads me to the Manic Mark Educational Moment number whatever again, because this one is about joining a club. And Groucho Marx, I think, once said that I would never join a club that would have me. Well, there's a lot to that. So as a collector, you join a club. If you start collecting something and are interested, it's exciting to get to meet other people that collect the same thing, okay? And it's kind of like this competition develops between you and other people that collect what you're collecting. And it's fun and healthy at first. Excuse me, going to have another allergy attack here. It's fun and healthy, and you learn things, but at a certain point in any hobby, you're going to get up there with the bigger guys, the more serious collectors, and there's got to be serious competition, and especially younger people get really like uptight about it. I collected radios for a while. This is a good story. Collected radios, antique radios. I should have one here. I don't. But I worked for a newspaper. Okay, well, the deal with the newspaper I worked for is I was in an editorial office the advertising people were not even in the building, okay? The paper was printed in a completely separate building, which I very rarely went to. And I ran an ad in the paper looking to buy antique radios. Well, this was back when there were still some out there to be had in private homes, okay? At the same week, another one of the collectors, maybe he was even my age, I don't know, ran an ad, okay? So when I saw him at an antique show within a week after the ad, he was totally irate with me. Well, you work for a newspaper and you saw my ad and you ran an ad the same week just because. But that illustrates the problem that you get into when you collect. Is that it's no longer, and when it becomes no longer any fun, and there's these competitions and this petty, you know, bullshit. I go away like Groucho Marx. I leave. So far, record collecting has not been like that. I haven't felt like I'm in a competition because the stuff I collect is just pretty much nobody else wants. Except Slideshow Tink, we have the thing where we get some things and share. You know, I feel like it's healthy. You know, it's not. I'm happy. Take whatever you get. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I think that I was jealous over the Las Vegas Lounge Act. I wanted that one, and there you get some good stuff as well. But I'm not. I'm happy for you. There you go. And blogs are good to share. So, but now I've got to talk about blogs. This is the other thing that's on my mind. I got enough material. I've just got to record enough material so that when I'm away, work on my next secret mission, which is coming up, that I could just play these one after another, right? Because it's timeless. What I have to offer you is timeless. And there's 460 some videos online that are timeless that you could go back and review if you want. Oh man, where was I going? I was on a roll there. Oh, that's right. No, that's not it. That's not it. Timeless. I could go back and review what I just said because I'm getting older and things happen in your head, and you kind of forget what you're doing there.